We're going to talk Falcons, NFL draft, and free agency here in just a second. Before we do, though, Falcons fans, did you know we just launched a new Falcons-only YouTube channel? Link there is below, chatsports.com/FalconsTV. We're getting closer to 1,000 subscribers. Once we hit that, we can do even more Falcons-focused videos for you guys. So if you're a Falcons fan, go subscribe today at chatsports.com/FalconsTV. Tom Downey here to talk some trades around the Falcons. So Steve Weish, the NFL Network reporter, who used to be a Falcons beat writer, mind you, thinks the team actually wants to trade down from number 4 overall and says the interest, or at least perceived interest, in the Falcons going quarterback at number 4 is actually just a smokescreen to help facilitate a trade. He suggested instead that the team will focus on the trenches, on the offensive line, on the defensive line. And if you're not going to go quarterback at 4, which they might not, I think trading down makes the most sense in the world. You could move down and still get a good offensive line prospect, depending on how far you want to move down. You move down beyond 4, you're probably not going to get Penei Sewell. Bengals probably take him at number 5. But Rashawn Slater, Christian Darrisaw, 2 potential left tackles. Well, they could be there in the early to mid-teens even potentially. Elijah Vera Tucker, if you want a guard, who could also play some tackle at a USC. And then if you move way down, I'm talking like with the Bears or Washington, Samuel Cosby could be there in the late teens, early 20s. You could go defensive line as well. Now, I don't think defensive tackle is the biggest need for this organization in terms of Christian Barmore, but you could consider him. The edges are not worth the number 4 overall pick. But some combination of Kwity Paye, Azeez Ojulari, Gregory Rousseau, Jalen Phillips. You can throw in a Joseph Asai from Texas if you want, a Jason Owe from Penn State. One of those edges would be there almost wherever you traded down into round 1. You could still take the first guy, the first edge off the board if you were to move down to like 8 potentially. Or even into the teens, there would be one of those guys, if not multiple guys, left on the clock for you. And of course, you could also go take Patrick Surtain or Caleb Farley. So I'm of the mindset, take a quarterback at number 4 or trade the pick, acquire more assets, and move down and continue your maybe it's not a full-fledged rebuild, but a retooling of this team. So what do you guys want to do with that number 4 overall pick? Type in T for trade it or type in K for keep. Get your votes in for me in the comments section. Let's go to Dante Fowler now. How about cutting him? Oh boy, this one was suggested by SB Nation, the Falcoholic blog over there. Had the 11.5 sack season with the Rams in 2019, and then just 3 this past year with the Atlanta Falcons. And that's not very good. Now, they paid him a pretty good amount of money. There are some potential cap savings here. You cut him right now with no designation, you save $3.21 million. It's not a lot of money to be saved. You could designate him a post-June 1st cut, which would save you almost $8 million. That spreads out the dead money cap hit over 2 years. Where things get tricky for Fowler and the Falcons is that a decision must be made rather quickly. Now, I know Fowler did not play well last year, but you're probably hoping for a bounce-back year. They guaranteed him $23 million. $6 million of his salary this season is already guaranteed. And an additional $7 million will fully guarantee on the 5th day of the new league year. That's coming up on March 21st. So you can designate him a post-June 1st cap cut and cut him before that to save the extra money, but you're not going to save all that much. And I wonder if in the end for the Falcons, you give Fowler 1 more year. Because you can move on from Dante Fowler, who I think you can still bank on starting. You're hoping for a better year, but you can assume he's one of your starters. You already cut Allen Bailey, Charles Harris, Steven Means, John Kaminsky. Man, you cut Fowler, you got nothing at the edge spot, and maybe Kaminsky could be a piece for you down the road, but he was still pretty raw coming on. He's not ready to start as far as I'm concerned. So I think the best bet for Atlanta, at least the way I view it, is let's roll with Fowler for 1 more year. And if it doesn't work out, he puts up 3 sacks again, oh, he is the most obvious cut in the history of ever. So what do you guys want to do? Should the Falcons cut Dante Fowler? Y for yes or N for no. Get your votes in there. I lean no, but if you're trying to reset on defense, I'm at least open to the possibility of it. Now, if you cut Dante Fowler, Or if you keep him, you still need more edge rush help. That's why Bleacher Report named the Falcons' ideal free agent target as Carl Lawson. They pitched this idea as the Bengals would let him walk, and they might tag him, by the way, but with other free agents like Shaq Barrett and Yannick Ngakoue, Lawson could be had on the cheap. I actually am unconvinced that is wholly the case. Now, I like Carl Lawson a lot. I was a big fan of his coming out of Auburn. Frankly, one of my best draft hits as far as I'm concerned and ever. I had a round 2 grade on the guy. He went round 4, and he was totally worth it. Coming off a 5.5 sack season, you go, well, that's only two more than Dante Fowler, Tom. What are you doing? Lawson, I don't think, was used very well by the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm not saying he's going to have a Shaq Barrett exact breakout if he were to leave, but I think he could put up a similar-ish breakout where I think he could be a double-digit sack guy on the right team in the right defense. So if I'm Atlanta, I would love to get Carl Lawson. I'm not convinced he's going to be the cheapest option out there. So what I want you guys to do now is reply with your number 1 free agent target for the Falcons. Maybe it's a cornerback, maybe it's an edge, maybe it's a safety. That's a huge need for the organization. Let me know what you guys think your number 1 free agent target for Atlanta. I don't think anyone's going to put this name on here, at least I'd be surprised. Adrian Peterson. This was floated by the Falcons Wire, the USA Today branch, as a free agent move and free agent target, right? Now, Peterson would certainly provide vet leadership, and frankly, if you need a veteran stopgap starter, Peterson, even at his advanced age, can still do it. But he is an aging player. I also don't necessarily know how great of a scheme fit he would be in the Arthur Smith offense, but you can figure that out, I think. At this point in his career, Peterson is fine. Like, he is not an elite starter. He's probably going to get you around 4 yards per carry like he did last year. And even if you bring in Peterson, and let's say you move on from free agents Todd Gurley and Brian Hill, you're still going to draft a running back early on. Or at least that's your most likely path, because Peterson's a one-year stopgap for you. This is not someone you sign and you go, oh, well, there we go. We've got him locked and loaded for 4 years or whatever. So I'm open to this idea. I don't think it's the best idea ever. But if you just want someone cheap, someone reliable, someone to be a veteran leader for you, I'm okay with that. But you still got to find a future option. Like, in terms of filling your need, Peterson doesn't really do that for an organization at this point in his NFL career, even though he is a future Hall of Famer, no doubts about that one. So do you want Adrian Peterson? Once again, get your votes in here. 1 for yes or 0 for no. While you guys are typing your votes down there, make sure you are subscribed. If you want more Falcons videos, hit that big red button. It's very simple here at Chat Sports. The more subscribers, the more videos we're able to do for you guys. We got a lot of different team channels here. The Falcons is the latest one. So hit that big red button and subscribe at chatsports.com/Falcons TV. To Tyler Eifert now, another free agent target. This one floated out by Sports Talk Atlanta. I don't mind this one. The Jags declined his team option, saved them like $5 million or something. It makes him a free agent. Eifert was, at one point early in his career, looked like one of the best young tight ends in the NFL. And then he had, what I'm going to use the phrase, all of the injuries. And I'm worried you heard me say a lot of injuries. He had all of them. He was always hurt, could never stay healthy. He stayed mostly healthy, though, the past 2 years. Unfortunately for Eifert, those injuries have added up, and he hasn't been the same guy in his NFL career. But you look at where the Falcons are at in terms of the tight end position. You gave up a second-round pick for Hayden Hurst, which I didn't love. But Luke Stalker's a free agent. Jaden Graham, not Jimmy Graham, Jaden Graham is an ERFA, so he'll be back. But we also know, based on Arthur Smith's offense, he loved calling formations involving 2 or even 3 tight ends. I mean, 38% I think was the number of 2 tight end sets. That's one of the highest rates in the NFL. So you should probably try and find a way to add at least a potential option at tight end too. Maybe you could go draft there, but I think Eifert could fill that role. He's no longer the guy he was when he first came out of Notre Dame, when he looked like a future superstar. He just can't produce in the same fashion, although I will make note, if you go from the Gardner Minshew, Mike Glennon, whoever else they were playing at quarterback for Jacksonville last year, Jake Luton, thank you, producer Sam, to Matt Ryan, I think the numbers would go up at least a little bit.